the Western Front when Germany went to war against France, with England joining in. Germany was looking for a decisive victory, went through Belgium. The quick war turned into the trench war. Belgium was cut off. The Belgians began to face severe food shortages, first in Brussels and then throughout the country. In this totally unexpected way, he had an opportunity to be of service. The potential human tragedy was a part of what affected him. On October 22nd, 1914, Hoover and several other American engineers created what became known as the Commission for Relief in Belgium, or CRB, and it had the unofficial patronage of the American ambassador.
There were millions who were starving, and Hoover organized a tremendous relief effort, biggest the world had ever seen.
Hoover's solution? Feed the Belgians. Don't worry about the Germans. It was his own diplomacy. It wasn't the diplomacy of his government.
He was uninhibited by any sort of government structure. He was acting as an individual on his own.
He loved the belief of helping others. He really establishes the first international NGO, non-governmental organization, for humanitarian relief.
The Commission for Relief in Belgium was unique in the history of the world. There had never been an attempt to feed an entire country at war under enemy occupation by neutral representatives of a faraway country.
Prior to Herbert Hoover, prior to World War I, countries took care of themselves, and if they couldn't, their people starved.
He was feeding over 9 million people a day, pretty much from that point on, from early 1915 until the end of the war.
Among all of the major figures in World War I, only Herbert Hoover emerges from the war with his reputation enhanced. In 1920, both parties seek Herbert Hoover as a potential nominee for the office of President of the United States.
The Hoovers and the Roosevelts were friends starting in World War I, and Roosevelt actually wanted Hoover to run for president as a Democrat in 1920, and I am convinced that he wanted to be Hoover's running mate.
FDR himself actually wrote to a friend that our best bet would be to nominate Herbert Hoover.
Franklin Roosevelt goes to the home of Herbert Hoover on S Street and tries to convince him to declare himself a Democrat. And at that point, Roosevelt says he will run Hoover's campaign for president because he thinks so highly of this man, Hoover.
He, in some ways, is the actual kind of personality that F. Scott Fitzgerald was trying to write about in The Great Gatsby. Somebody who comes out of obscurity and becomes a great world-commanding personality.